I became a teacher in order to make a difference. I wanted to educate young people. I wanted to give everyone the opportunity to further themselves.
Well, one of my teachers in high school kind of pulled me to the side, and she let me know that she thinks I'd be a good elementary school teacher. And I kind of already served as an assistant teacher in the class anyway, so I just took it from there.
Officially, I wasn't in education. I actually was a physical therapist. But 2 years into my program, I realized that, I want to be a teacher. And I started thinking about when I was growing up, I would always play school. I would always use my dolls as my students, and I would be the teacher. And so that really just let me know that I was in the place that I need to be, teaching and education.
Ever since I was in the 6th grade, I have always wanted to teach. I played school as a child, papers, pencils, grading papers. Just always thought that was something I wanted to do. I had very good teachers coming up, and I just wanted to mimic them.
First started thinking about getting into teaching when I was working in the field of social services. I had a couple of clients that we now call customers that were coming for assistance, and they didn't have a high school diploma. And reason being for not having a high school diploma is because 9 times out of 10 they got pregnant as a teenager and never got an opportunity to go back. So the program that I worked with was urging them to go back and get their GED. And then when I found out that most of them could pass the GED with flying colors, I started thinking about what else could we do to keep them in school and not just go get their GED. And as I started digging deeper and finding out what really was the problem, I found out that I couldn't pass the social studies part on the graduation test. And being that history was my bachelor's degree, I was like, whoa, how could you not know social studies? So I began to realize that my calling was to come back to the field of education and work in the field of social studies to get these young mothers back in school so they could pass the graduation test and get a high school diploma.
Seeing students catch on to new skills and watching them grow and progress as the year goes on.
My students, I make sure that I develop a relationship with my students, a personal relationship. And I love to see them come in and they can't do certain skills, and when they acquire those skills and are able to do some of the things they were not able to do at the beginning, and they get excited, and it just motivates me to keep coming every day, pushing harder and harder to make my kids be the best that they can be.
In the classroom, it's just being able to touch the hearts of so many of these children. Sometimes I wonder if it's better to teach higher ed, but I'm thinking that this is where I make a difference. This is where my heart is. This is where I belong.
As I think back to some of the things that have inspired me to continue on, although the graduation test has, far gone, and many of the people that didn't get their high school diploma did finally get it with a law passed. But seeing some of their children come through the school system, knowing their mothers were young women trying to pass the graduation test and now trying to encourage them to pass other tests like the Georgia Milestones, and knowing that when they accomplish something that their mother and I share a common, bond of letting the test not block us from getting the graduation diploma is sort of, one of the most rewarding things. And I got basically feel like graduation time is like a reunion time for me, because I see the mom and then I see the daughter or son, and I'm like, I remember them when they were born, and they remember me at that time when I worked at DPAC. So it's, for me it's a rewarding experience every graduation, knowing some of the families that I worked with when I was working as a social service worker.
My students, when I see that light bulb finally come on, that I really understand where the X goes and what AX squared plus BX plus C equals, that's my encouragement.
She gave you one. You need to jot it down. The other ones are
I think every teacher is Teacher of the Year in some sense. I'm really grateful and thankful that my peers see whatever they saw in me to recommend me as Teacher of the Year. But I think it's a great honor, and like I said, I think every teacher is Teacher of the Year in some sense. And so like I said, I'm grateful, and it doesn't change me in any way, form, or fashion. It just helps me to become a better teacher.
It was a very proud moment, almost shocking moment. It means that I'm doing something right. My peers, my administrators, somebody sees something in me. I see it in myself, but sometimes you think that the things that you do go unnoticed. But I'm thankful that I got this position, and I thank God and I give Him the glory for it.
When you see the word teacher, you think about instruction in the classroom constantly. But for me, being Teacher of the Year is being involved with the whole system of education, where it goes from, in the classroom with instruction and our new models of following a standard-based classroom, but taking care of the entire child, visiting them at home, watching some of their basketball games or football games, and being their cheerleader in the classroom when they, come out of another teacher's classroom and aced another exam, being that parent when they're away from home. To me, when I see Teacher of the Year, I see Parent of the Year, I see Friend of the Year, I see Mentor, Role Model of the Year, all in one.
The Teacher of the Year nomination from my peers this year was different because this is my first year at Moore Street School, and just the simple fact that they saw something in me from the beginning makes me realize that all the years that I've put in, good gracious, I have made a change in somebody's life.
It's an honor. It was something that I was not expecting, so it was a shocker to be voted as Teacher of the Year of a school that I attended. So I'm very honored by that.
To me, what makes a great teacher is being passionate, being real, being relatable, just being what these students need day to day. It's not always about the curriculum, even though I know that's why we're here, but sometimes these students just need just a little bit more than that. It's about real life. It's about life skills and reality. That's what it is to me.
I feel like to become a great teacher, you got to really understand the students that you're teaching. You really need to know their background. You really need to know where they come from. And they have to believe that you understand their background and where they come from. And having a relationship of respect. They respect you, and in turn you respect them. Showing them how to be a young adult and how to act, how to approach other adults, how to ask questions, how to carry themselves in a mature manner, and being able to handle things that sometimes they don't always agree with, but being able to come to some type of consensus with someone that they don't agree with, for me, is what makes that Teacher of the Year special.
Now, for these kids, and I use this term a lot in reference to them, and no disrespect at all, but my kids are rough riders. They've had aspects of life that some of us, regardless of how old we are, have never experienced. So the fact that I can see them mature from just okay, I'm coming to school because I have to the point where I'm coming to school so I can learn, so I can get my courses, so I can get my diploma, that's just great just to see, because they come in, I want to be a nurse. Is that really what you want? You have to work, right? Yes, ma'am, and I'm going to do it, because I had one that came in August and she said, I'm going to graduate by December. I said, okay. So she missed 3-4 days of school. I said, what'd you tell me? The first week of school, I'm going to graduate. I said, you can't do it until you come to school. Well, she's done, and she's going to graduate December 15th at our graduation. So that's just one of those moments where you said you wanted it, encouragement, and here it's the reality.
I think somebody who's dedicated, willing to do anything that is possible to make sure their students are successful, not only in the classroom, but in life.
Yes, as a matter of fact, today was an aha moment. I have a student that's been struggling, and he was able to come tell me, Miss Hall, I got it. So that's the whole objective of being in education, is to students to see that they are able and they're capable to accomplish whatever they can accomplish with hard work and dedication on my part as well as themselves.
Yes, I love seeing students who come to me with a fear of math, and then as they work with it, then they develop a love for it. Because back in open house, I had a parent and a child come to me and say that they hated math. The parent told me that her child hates math, so she said, you may not get anything out of her. So I said, well, just bear with me, we'll see how it goes. So now the child about a month ago came to me and said she is beginning to like math, and I'm very impressed by the progress that she has shown from the beginning of the year to now.
Yeah, I have a few of those moments, but to me, the moment this year was the election. The election exercise that we did coming up to November 8th was a real big aha moment for me, because you saw that culture had a lot to do with how kids were thinking. But once we got in and talked about the real issues, not just being Republican or Democrat, but just knowing what the beliefs and the values of each of the candidates are, and just making these students know that it's more to it than black and white.
Absolutely. Mr. Lewis is a part of our family. He's willing to help anyone in need. I can't recall any teacher that has ever asked him to do anything that I've asked him to do as his principal that he has not been willing to do, and just do it with a smile. He's always one of the first ones to get here early, and also one of the ones to always leave late. So he's always putting in those extra hours. He does not have a regular 7 to 3 or 8 to 4. No, his hours extend well beyond the traditional work hours, and it's all for the students. He's not doing it to get any praise, to get any accolades from anyone else, but it's because of just simply who he is. He's sincere about teaching, he's sincere about his students, and he's really about his calling. He's sincere about his calling to teach.
Her willingness to do whatever is needed for the students that she teaches. She's always looking for new ways to teach them. She teaches multiple levels at the same time, multiple content, so she adapts to whatever it is that she needs to do, and makes sure that her instruction is at a level where the children can be challenged but yet successful.
Okay. Well, I've had the pleasure of watching, this is Ms. Chappell's, my second year with Ms. Chappell, being her administrator, and her devotion and passion to what she does, her love for teaching, and her teaching to me sometimes is like an inspirational message. She loves history, she teaches the love of history to her students, and it's just inspirational just to listen to her.
Well, one of the main things that she brings to Moore Street itself is just, of course, being the counselor. And it's just amazing that, she come in and she's able to relate with the students, help get them back on track, and, and just have a plan for them. She meets with students on an individual basis. She give them like a little spreadsheet, say, okay, this is where you are, this is where we're trying to get you there. And it's more like she's kind of like that mother figure to them, which is a good thing that all of our teachers are doing, but she does that and just gets to the point and say, okay, we need to get this done, no excuses. And then from there, just transition to the classroom, just going in there, how she just, making sure she's staying on the students, not accepting, just the very basic. She's trying to raise them up to a certain standard. She said, I'm gonna push you to this level right here, and I want you to go above that. And I notice it all the time, even in the classroom with the touch screens, she's got them up there being interactive with everything and pointing things out, and even sitting back and say, okay, now you do it. And then she also, when the students have gotten it, she makes sure they do it peer teaching. So everything that, above and beyond the teacher does in the classroom, Ms. Nim does a great job of that.
Ms. Howard, exemplifies the old school, hard-working teacher that comes to school every day prepared to give the kids her best, and her expectations are to receive their best. She works extremely hard. She loves the subject that she teaches, and she pours a lot into her kids, and they know that she loves them. And one of the things that we talk about here is building relationships, and that's what she's done with her kids. She builds that relationship to let them know that she cares about them as a person, about their education, and that her job here is to make sure that she makes them a better person, not only academically, but the whole person, the whole kid. She makes that kid better. When they leave her class, they know they're gonna be better.
Like with Ms. Howard, if there's a task that we have to do, she's gonna do it, and she's gonna help whoever is trying to do the same task get to the goal.
And Ms. Howard's always got your back. She will go to war for you if she knows you're right. She's not gonna let you fail.
Very cool. Now I'm gonna want to talk to you just for a quick second, just to get a little extra stuff. How often do you laugh in a classroom?
I laugh every day.
How often do you cry in a classroom?
When I get to seniors, my senior students, because it's kind of hard when you teach seniors, you know they're leaving and they're going in this big world with all kinds of decisions. So day to day, I got a group of girls this time, and we're 6 of them. And they cry almost every day. Somebody's got a problem. But maybe once a week with them, we cry and we bond a little bit about some of the things. And sometimes they're not sad cries, they're mostly happy cries because of something that happened early in the week that was silly. So I love them, but just being able to tell the seniors where I've been and the fields that I worked in, for instance, social services, and that just really tied to me a lot, because some of those children that are coming through here, I remember the grandparents, and I know when some of them died and what they died of. And like this year in particular, I have a child that I know a grandmother, she looks just like her grandmother, and her grandmother died. And I'm like, oh my gosh, every single day I gotta see this girl, but I see her grandmother in it. So, I mean, probably in a regular classroom without seniors, maybe once a month I think about things that have gone and transpired throughout the week and say, gosh, I forgot to tell them this, or I forgot to remind them that. And just so they can take some things in. Homecoming always makes you cry. Graduation, you always cry. And prom, because these kids are only going to get this once, especially the seniors. But I enjoy being a part of their lives and being a part of that memory that they can think back 10 years, 20 years from now and say, I remember Miss Howard was crying or telling me about this boy, or telling me that it's not over because I'm going to find something else different. So it's always a joy to be able to be some kind of memory for them, because I know my teachers did that for me.
Fantastic. You did awesome.